Thanks for tuning in to the Palm Beach Podcast, a weekly show highlighting people making a positive impact in Palm Beach County. With your hosts, sports chiropractor and athletic trainer, Dr. James Spencer, photographer and art director, Mike Jones. Our show is brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Indo Board, and Lotus Trips for travel and retreats to Palm Beach County.
Hello, and welcome to the Palm Beach Podcast. My name is Mike Jones. I'm hanging out on Singer Island at Media Zone with my co-host, Dr. James Spencer. How are you doing, Spence?
Good to see you as always, Mike.
Yeah, it's a special day. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers why?
Well, we got the Nomad crew here. We got Ryan and Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're stoked to be here.
Yeah, Nomad Surf Shop, a bit of an icon in Palm Beach County. You got to tell us a little bit about the origin story with your old man and the shop and kind of how it all started.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so we've been in the same location since the 60s, actually 68. So this year is 52 years. So solid 52 there.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So it started originally, my grandpa had a TV repair store. He was always into that. He came from California, from Canada, but he plopped that there because of the briny breezes, what we were talking about brief. But he did that because he wanted to think he could fix all the TVs through there and do it. And then my dad, got into building surfboards, which he originally started in Delray at a place called Caribbean Surfboards,
Okay.
sweeping the floor and doing it. And then, he generated into Nomad Surfboards. So my grandpa, his dad gave him a 75 square foot little pie shaped kind of attached to the TV repair store. And then it had like maybe 10 boards and a round rack of board shorts. And
Love it.
yeah, kept going from there. Over the years, he was always known up and down the East Coast for his quality, like his pin line work, the detail he would put in. And he would always go out to California and try to be one step ahead and come back to the East Coast. And long story short, that went he sold from here all the way up into New Hampshire, up and down the coast, driving with a trailer. He'd tell me stories. One time the trailer got stolen. Yeah, the guy got stuck on the beach, but he got all the boards back. So stuff like that along the way. And then
In 52 years, there's a lot of stories you can tell.
oh yeah, there was
Oh my gosh.
a lot of endless nights with over a drink, and the stories would just be endless.
His dad used to tell me stories, and I always thought he was like full of shit. And I'm like, this guy is lying to me.
Yeah.
And like years go by, and like people would stop in and say hi to his dad, and they'd be like, "Remember that time we did this?" I'm like, "That's real."
Yeah,
Like how?
yeah, a lot of pirate stories, a lot of
Yeah.
surf stories. A lot of good stuff.
Now I got to ask, where did Nomad come from?
So Nomad, the name itself was kind of because, the wander and
Yeah.
search for, food, that type of thing, but kind of came about for that wandering surfer, always in search for that next kind of,
Wave.
best wave or location. And so that's kind
I
of
love
where
it.
the Nomad, there was a few other guys kind of involved in the beginning as it was growing, and they just, they didn't do too hot, and Pops kept to the grind.
Yeah.
And
Respect that.
yeah. So, we kept going, and as we grew, he bought the gas station next door. It used to be this old Pure Oil, I guess it was. And then he bought the backside, which was Dante's Den, this old rock and roll bar.
No shit.
Yeah, people walk into this day with this sparkle in their eye and say, where's Dante's? And, if you're on the guy's side where the counter is, it's actually where the bar was. And I kind of tell them, I'm like, you're standing in it. And they get this like little...
And again, scary stories.
Yeah,
And, like, that
nostalgia
cannot be
right
true.
there.
Yeah, but full, I guess, like rock and roll till 5 a.m. And
Hell yeah.
my grandma and grandpa lived upstairs, and my dad would tell me about her sleeping with cotton in her ears because it was just full.
Too loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
full force. And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, pretty cool there. And, that side grew because my mom, my dad actually met my mom working at a restaurant, which is the deli nowadays.
Right
next door.
No
Yeah,
shit.
Seaside Deli. It used to be this like old little restaurant. And that's where my dad met my mom. And then she had a niche for retail and style, and that's kind of where we grew into the retail side.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So cool to see them complement each other,
Yeah.
because we are a big believer in team.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do everything for everybody as an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you just have to double down on what you're good at.
Yep.
And so that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my dad was always say, "There's no I in team." You know, the old school saying.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. But it does take an army, especially in this day and age.
Correct.
And everyone's got their part, and you know, Taylor does the women's buying, and she runs the women's side and social media and all that. So, you know,
the teamwork over here too.
Yeah, you know.
And I was actually, a question in the bank was, who does your guys' social? Because it's
That's
awesome.
me.
So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we try to keep it lifestyle. You
Yeah.
know, we do put our products up and all that, but you see enough of that. We will do our specialty stuff on there.
I mean,
But-
even just the sunrises and stuff.
Yeah,
Totally.
There's
Big
so
fan.
many people that come in from up north, like that are just there seasonally sometimes, or there for the week, and they're like, "I love it. You make me feel like I'm on the beach with you guys,
Totally.
or
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can wake up and feel like I'm there when I'm really in a snowstorm or something." And I'm like, "That's exactly what I want."
It's
So-
similar for me too.
I was just gonna say we
Yeah.
do the same thing. So people out west always contact Mike and ask him for the surf report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's right there every
Mhm.
morning.
Yeah, I live right by the pump house.
Yeah.
So I like to walk
Perfect.
down in the morning and
Give your
catch-
report.
Yeah, a little fresh air, a little
Yeah.
sunlight on the skin,
Yeah.
maybe a little saltwater swim.
Yeah.
And
cool.
all the boys always are like, you know, is that surfable? Is that foilable?
Yeah. They
so-
want to know before they do the drive.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
And I have a parking spot right by pump house, so it's
You should
know.
charge people.
There we go.
Hey,
Now you're talking
You should
business
charge.
here.
Hey, who do you think does it? No, I'm just kidding.
you are the marketing person. Media
Yeah.
Zone is going to expand to a parking lot as well.
Right? Charge people.
Exactly. Slash, like, why you got all this write-off parking?
Yeah.
You know.
Don't worry about
Don't
that.
worry
Yeah.
about it.
It's so cool. You know, I look at you guys and I see very similar to like what we're doing, you know. It's I handle the creative side. You know, he is a great networker and social butterfly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with that dynamic, we've been able to put a podcast episode out every week since November, and
That's amazing.
we're
Good
so
for you
stoked to
guys.
have you guys on the show.
Well,
Heck
thanks.
yeah.
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 Nice work, by the way. We were watching some of your stuff, so yeah, keep it up.
Yeah,
Heck
appreciate
yeah,
that.
having a little fun.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool too. Like even the hat that I'm wearing, the retro Nomad hat.
Yeah.
I think I got it when I first moved here, probably 7 years
I'd
ago.
say that's an old one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I did that one before, like the whole Florida flag thing,
Exactly.
like boomed.
Wow.
and-
exactly.
Yeah.
And one of my patients gave it to me and was like, "Hey, this is local spot. You're gonna get to know."
Yeah.
And still to this day, I'm rocking it. So
Cool.
Aw, that's
I
cheers
like
to
it.
that.
I just
Heck
saw it
yeah.
and I was like,
We're gonna have to
"Damn, I
bring it
gotta
back."
yeah, we'll bring it back for this.
Little
Spring
retro.
break.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You know.
And that too. That being said, like, how do you get some of the creative ideas or outlets? Is it you guys just bullshitting at night? Seriously?
Wine. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is that spur, and we do get the ideas and say, "Let's try it." You know, you can never know till you put it in front, because there's so many opinions and so many styles. And you know, a big thing for us is we have art from the 70s to current, you know, so we actually keep some of our 70s art, like famous artists like Bill Ogden was this guy on Laguna,
Okay.
drew some stuff for my dad, a couple board logos, but he drew all this Sound Spectrum posters. It was this like crazy record shop in Laguna, and there was like the trippiest calendars. And so we have stuff from like him to Jack Myers was a guy who drove for Local Motion. And
Okay.
so all that art's kind of old school, and we got to bring it back and throw it around. But then we have our current, you know, like the Iron Cross on your hat is more of a modern core logo,
Sure.
but we do plenty of versions of it. And then now, you know, we got to mix into the new school simple art where it's all about the T-shirt. It's the, you know, the thin T-shirt. It's fitted, but people don't like all the crazy art.
Correct.
They just like more of the simplicity. So
Yeah.
it's really the up and down. And
It's the trends. It just
Yeah.
changes. Like for girls, it's so different. Like we have like Visco girl style everything right now, and then you know you have your older woman that comes in that's from Briny Breezes that's like in her 70s and just wants something that says Briny Breezes Nomad. Like
yeah, and we
it
have
all
to
depends on the client.
we have to do that for the town. We're on the bubble of Briny, Boynton, you know. Some people just want 1968.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you know, the core guy who doesn't want a town on it. And then it's the different T-shirts, you know, till the guy who smokes his ciggies with the pocket tee or the thick old school square tee.
Exactly.
So we like go through the back wall, and there's all those, and people are like, "Why you got so many variations?" I'm like, "It's just the
So many different types of
people coming from the years ago and come back, and so we have to hit that up and down market, and you know,
And we got to give a shout out to a Palm Beach podcast previous guest who did some painting at your place and decked out some Van shoes.
Yeah.
Carly Major.
Yeah.
I hope she's proud that I remembered how to pronounce her name.
Yes.
Because it was a running joke for a little bit. But yes, she's awesome. And when we saw her come into your shop, it was like we knew that like you were on our radar.
Yeah.
But after we met her and talked to her and
it was
shared
right after the
stories
event. I remember I got the email and I was like, okay.
Yeah. And that's simply what we're doing is finding people that are awesome, and they tend to hang out with other awesome people. And then we keep building our podcast show, and we have a network of really cool people in Palm Beach County.
It was neat. We actually had Greg Norman Jr. on.
Okay.
And he referred over the Pump House Boys.
Okay. Nice.
And it's funny how, like, you know, full circle, now we've got people who are just like you guys, just like us, good people who are giving back and young.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot now.
Shaking up the market.
Exactly. I'm seeing the youth is really starting to take an effect, which is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know, we're also fortunate to live here in Palm Beach County. I know that I'm a big surfer. You grew up in a surf family. I have to ask you this question. You told me before we went on air that you're goofy.
Yeah.
Was your old man a regular or a goofy?
He was regular foot. And then I have an older brother, Ronnie. You know, he's a big part of the business too. So he's goofy foot as well. And we always had this joke because, like, the Fletcher family, you know, Herbie and Christian and Nathan, they were the same way. So we were always like, oh, yeah, you know, I guess it runs in that, you know, that
the
family.
Blood.
Every other generation swaps footprints
or
something,
just like, you know, the kind of core family that surfs.
It's in the DNA.
Yeah, you know,
exactly.
so it was always like my dad, you know, would longboard, or we'd go up to Sebastian Inlet and you could see him like come through first peak nose riding, and I'd be on second peak because I was goofy foot and I wanted to go left, and you know, so it was that mix of, but blessed in Florida during the winter, especially a lot of lefts.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I'll go, you know, I like going right. But
What's your favorite break? Palm Beach.
In the area,
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Boynton Inlet, when it's all time like big,
Popping, right?
yeah, it's a pretty special place. Like, but shh.
Yes.
But I mean, Reef Road
Yep.
was always on. I mean, it's been years since it was old school, like official Reef Road. I mean, that was probably one of the better waves in the East Coast when it was on.
Yeah, we had the founder of Indo Board, Hunter Jocelyn, on the show.
Yeah, we know
cool.
Hunter quite
And
well.
he was talking about paddling across the inlet, like way back in the day.
Yeah,
Pump
And
House Reef Road.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a lot of water moving, and
Yeah.
there's some sea life out there.
oh yeah.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty gnarly when he told me that they paddle across, because I've paddled across inlets, and I don't want anything to do with that Palm Beach inlet.
But-
Yeah.
I remember the Boynton Inlet when I first moved here. This was probably like 2014 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
It was popping.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was during, like, Sandy was one of the biggest
Yep,
ones,
yep.
and I actually was flying in from Fiji. We were in Tavarua, and like it went purple. Like, you don't really see purple in Florida, and I flew in on a red eye and went up there checking it. We were going to stay in California, but I bought a new flight because it was just pulsing.
Yeah.
And I pulled up from a red eye. She went home. I had my board bag, and I was like standing up there, and a buddy pulls up with the ski at sunrise. He goes, "Hey,
Exactly.
you want a tow?" And I was like, "Oh, cool. Can I take my board bag home real fast?" And it was
It
like,
was straight from the airplane.
At
Yeah.
least shower.
yeah, I went. I
Salt
remember
water.
going back and getting like the strongest coffee, a big leash, you know, the
Yeah.
board. I thought, and I was actually out there. It took us like a mile to get out on the ski going around, because it's not like Pump House where you could shoot out the
Exactly.
inlet and kind of go around. When you come out to that sandbar, it's like you had to motor
shoot south.
around. So we almost ended up all the way down past Boynton Public, and then came back around, and it was, you know. I mean, when some people kind of claim like, oh, it was 8 foot, it was bigger, like, and you're like kind of like, maybe that day was every bit of like full size. And
Yeah.
I got pictures of it.
yeah.
Well,
It was fucking popping.
as you know, in the surf world, guys measure waves from the front or the back of the wave,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all these other factors. So if you got barreled, you know, it's a good day, right?
Oh yeah.
Shit,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
getting towed in Florida, it's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using a ski for
Right.
size instead of just like current or something or tow-ats,
Yeah.
you know, there's full swell in Florida. And, you know, I was out there actually, my leash plug pulled out of my board, and that board like was just gone.
Fucking long.
And luckily, like I was floating on the sandbar, and a buddy with a sled picked me up because it was like I was stuck in the impact zone, just getting drilled. But that was all part of it.
Part of the deal.
Yeah, a lot of people were at Pump House, and it was mega, and out there was just kind of different. It was long and
So cool.
triple barrel, so 2 different waves, but same kind of size. And
So I grew up in New Hampshire, and while we're talking about that day, my mom had flown in, and she had never seen Ryan surf or anything like that, and it was the Sandy swell, and my mom's like, we're sitting up there watching, and my mom's like, oh my gosh, the surf is so great, like, she's like, Ryan makes it look so easy. I'm like, this is like the biggest swell that we've had for like,
Never like that.
yeah,
and my mom was like, wow.
yeah,
This is not normal, Mom.
yeah.
Yeah, but she thought she was like, it's so great, there's so many people. I'm like, yeah, okay.
But yeah, that was a time to kind of remember. There's been other off and on ones, but
Totally.
that one, I mean, the other day even we went to Miami, South Beach, and
Oh, you went?
yeah,
Nice.
it was pretty solid. Just far as it was when I was talking to her actually in the front yard. I surfed out back, and I was like, man, it doesn't. I was like, wow, it looks like it's getting better, and it was already almost kind of getting close to 11:30 noon, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go, and she's like, okay. And
I'm like, see you later, I'll be at work.
and it was full, wedging, teepees, and
Yeah, it was cool. I saw some great photos and videos.
yeah.
It was fun here, but it was more perfect down there.
I mean, there was, definitely moments like Lantana had good waves and places. It had full size, but definitely when down there does it, it's only like those every couple of
rare,
years,
too.
and it's a different wave. It's full, A-frame, full gauntlet.
How's the clarity of the water down there?
It gets that like brackish kind of
Yeah.
green. It's still kind of not like here, out here when it's pumping and blue and it sends all that Gulf Stream water in. It's like,
Beautiful.
yeah, magic. It doesn't get much better than that.
So now that we've geeked out on surfing,
Oh my gosh, story of my life.
Yeah.
I hear it all day long.
please share a little bit about the culture you're trying to build now that you guys are, on operations. Talk about the team that you're trying to build, the vibe you're setting. Tell us about Nomad Surf Shop.
I mean, on our part, as far as the core side, and we stick to surfboards and we still build custom surfboards to this day.
Awesome.
That's always been a big part. So a lot of that too, when we can build a board for a special event or a charity and, generate the cause and give back, that's always kind of, because those boards are one of one. There's not one other one in the world like that. So that's a big hit. But we do a lot of specialty events, or like the Vans one was with artists, and so we try to do anything we can on that aspect. Building the store itself has been kind of special over the years because of the market, like Taylor was saying. It varies, but I feel with the new projects, it's always trying to get someone new in there who's stoked. I mean, over time retail can get a bit, but we
can wear you down.
yeah. We've had a few people kind of just getting like, and you're kind of like, okay, you need to kind of just refresh. And
Exactly.
you remember why we started in this business. And so we try our best, but at the end of the day, retail is kind of got a hard little
It's got an edge.
jab here and there. But specialty retail, like with us, we try to keep it fun. Seasons definitely, like the holidays are nonstop, and you can tell the burnout factor. But I think for us to just keep trying, like right now our biggest thing is our Nomad brand, because we are going against like Billabong, Quicksilver. They're good to have in the store. It's great. They do, great stuff over the years, but now we're fighting them at their own game, online and selling direct and doing sales. So, with us, put our big push in our brand tells more of a story, and you can only get it through us, and it's unique. And
You can't
like
go on
that.
Amazon. You can't buy it anywhere else except
yeah,
in our shop.
and we'll do
That's
these
cool.
collabs with people, or I do ones with photography, like Ben Hicks, who does, he's the turtle guy, known as. We do a hat with him, and his hats, we just buy them and give them some, so they give back to his charity or whatever.
Love
and
it.
that's the type of stuff that makes it unique, and whatever we can do there. The beach cleanup thing, anytime we can. I had a guy approach me recently. He's going to be doing buckets that are stationed at the beach, and we'll sponsor the bucket.
Cool.
So it's
Awesome.
going to be there so that people can literally have, all the elements to clean the beach without having to bring
their
all
own.
their stuff, and will be
Awesome.
kind of a sponsored feature on that.
Yeah,
So,
we love it, man. I mean, we're all rocking Four Oceans and Surfrider Foundation members
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that stuff
yeah.
as well. So it's cool to, like he said earlier, to see some young people, with that mentality. we got something beautiful here.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the next generation. It's like we got to reach out to those people, the kids in school, high school, and give them like, happiness for surfing and that lifestyle. And like that's who's going to continue to come in our stores. That's who's going to continue to break the mold in the whole world,
Because the Amazon shopper is not your target customer.
No.
You want the person that's walking in barefoot after a surf with a nice coffee that needs a new leash and maybe I'll grab a hat.
Yeah.
That type of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's that.
On a custom board.
It's all over the place.
And we've branched into other stuff too. Like we launched a juice truck out front, Nomad Surf Juice and Coffee. It's
Talk about that.
It's a food truck, but A1A in our area was a lot of big homes in the deli, and so we were always like, man, there's nothing. We always got to leave to get something like a juice or a smoothie or make it when you're busy. So kind of had this idea of this truck, and I actually bought this food truck years ago. It kind of sat around, and everyone's like, "Oh, that thing."
I hated it. It sat in the parking lot for years.
And then it finally, came into play. So it's out front. It cranks. People, are out there. You see them eating
This is great.
Yeah, they're eating the bowl, listening to reggae on A1A, and then they walk in and can kind of breeze through. So that just is kind of our element of creating, and
it's part of the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
We created a vibe basically, and that's like what people like to come back. And like when people come from up north, like it's so great to hear them try to say acai. They're like
my
a
gosh.
kai, a key. Like, you have ice cream in there?
An Aki bowl.
Yes, we have that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, it's called acai. Like, have a little like sample, and then they're hooked, and it's all good.
That's awesome.
So that's just been part of us, branching into new stuff, which, I give anyone credit on a restaurant. That's a whole curveball.
Whole nother monster,
I mean, we're on a small scale, but it's a whole nother, but it just added to our story. And it's kind of cool during the day when people are vibing and sitting there, and you just see stoked from the old guy to the Grom to whatever. Then they're walking in looking at boards. And I mean, we've kept our selection of surfboards up to like 300 just because, a lot of people have given it up on it in Florida. They only stock so many, and they say there's no room for them. And we're just kind of like, that's one of those hate-love relationships.
Yeah.
But you got to stock surfboards. I mean, that's why.
And there's like two types of surf shops in the world. There's like your corporate shop that has like, 100 Channel Island boards.
Yeah.
All epoxy, all machine button, printed out, and with a Dane Reynolds or whatever logo because it sells.
Yeah.
And then there's like that old school, faction. And it's so cool to see you guys surviving and thriving because there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
It's authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we stuck to, especially in our store itself. We didn't really go all the big build outs, and so it looks like every same shop. I mean, you may come in, there might be a chip tile, it might be a little rugged, but you might run into a scraggly guy out front, you might see our ding repair guy with no shirt on
get scared.
But it's kind of the factor of that surf. There's not a lot of us left, there's a few here and there, but we cleaned up our act over the old days a bit, but it's still, the fun factor's there, but, we still got to stick to the retail.
Yeah.
Well, it's adulting.
Exactly.
Right?
Adulting. You have to grow with the times, but as you grow older, you're like, well, maybe this is more important than this part. And
you value different things.
yeah.
Yeah, but, we still like to throw those events with live music and tie in the charity. We wouldn't, we would say that, a couple of the floaters are flowing, and
Right.
but that's part of the thing when
yeah.
you see people having a good time or they're dancing out front, and you're like, okay.
And those are our locals, and those are the people that like keep us going through
Correct.
Christmas and through summer and like, all those things. So those are the true people that are like, near and dear to us because they keep coming back to us. So that's why we got to keep on like evolving and growing to like keep our locals stoked and
Taking care of them.
they're our most important people.
I mean,
I love it.
Not this October, last October before it, we did our 50th anniversary party. And like all the brands asked me, what do you want to do for this thing? I was like, I literally just want all you guys to show up and give away as much stuff as you can.
Yeah, stoke out the
Just,
locals.
make it like, hey,
Let's have a good
this
time.
is how we did it. I built this big L-shaped bar out front, and, I was glassing it barefoot like a couple nights before.
It was like 3 a.m. He came home, and I'm like, where have you been?
And
he's
she's like, I was like, oh, it's going to rain.
in
And I had to.
I was like, what are you doing?
And I put all these old school Nomad logos in it. And I named the bar Dante's Den, like the
it.
old
I love
bar in the back. So
and all the
you
oldies loved it.
Oh, they loved it. They were at the event, and we had great bands. We gave away a bunch of stuff, and that's what our 50 years has been about, like that Stoke. So actually, the name of the event was 50 Years of Stoke.
Love it.
So it wasn't like, hey, and it was a big turnout, and people like still talk about it, just like, hey, I walked away with stuff.
There was like, when's your next one? I'm like, well,
We're
in
like
another 50 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we do events like, but that one was like
That was a rager.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
it was like half a year of planning, and,
Right.
just getting it. We had a trolley like to try to, parking's kind of limited,
You didn't want
let
people
alone the whole
drinking
parking
and
lot was
driving.
blocked.
Sure.
But it was a good event, and it was, just good to see people, and we have a pretty cool documentary we did, and
Hell yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to tell us, if you're not getting a juice out front, what are some spots that you like to go to in the area? It's your chance to shout out a restaurant, a bar.
Oh, we got a couple. I hate cooking, so
I love
We
it.
have our regular-
It's by the time we get home, actually, from the shop, and you look at the.
he looks at me. He's like, "What's for dinner?" I'm like,
I'm like,
"What are you looking at me for?"
So
Like,
We're
sweet.
both tired.
yeah.
A local spot right over the bridge is Sweetwater.
Oh,
They do
yeah.
a lot of the crafted drinks and good
I
foods.
know the boys over there
You
very
You
well.
can get
Yeah.
sucked in real quick though, so be careful.
Yeah, if it's, you got to pick your nights to go there. There's always been the old school Banana Boat and
Yeah.
Two Georges. That's been a big part of
Classic.
Boynton.
I love Josie's.
Yeah.
Ryan's dad's favorite. I swear to God, his dad would eat there twice a day.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
dad wouldn't
So
go
it's
far,
like-
and he just would literally be at Josie's sitting there, and so we still go there to this day and just say, all right, this is
But the food is amazing.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the vibe is good and all that.
Yep. So there's those go-tos. The Banana Boat, we built some custom boards outside with, some
Yeah.
fish art from Pete Aggerty. He's a local fish artist, so we do these kind of prints of them, and we did some out there. So kind of cool to tie in like our craft with, local spots, and so.
Dude,
I
I
love
love
it, baby.
You just gave us like 3 more podcast guests to invite on the show.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So
Sorry to ruin our strategy, Spence, but
I like it.
when we have people like you in the studio, it's like we could have grown up and been friends our whole life,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
really do feel that. And so when you say you vouch for a restaurant, I'm gonna trust you. We'll make the drive up from Singer Island, make the drive down
Down.
Yeah.
from Singer
Down,
Island.
yeah. Well, call us. We'll meet
or
you there.
you
Yeah,
guys,
sure.
You guys ever do pop-up
Oh,
podcast?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
you guys
know?
could totally do that out front.
Well, we're trying to. We reached out to the Palm Beach Boat Show to
Okay.
do a pop-up boat podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see what they say.
There you go.
And we filmed an event for Lily Pulitzer and the Colony
Nice.
Hotel yesterday.
Nice.
So
Oh yeah, it's Fashion Week, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
well, it's Super Bowl week.
Oh,
Two,
okay.
yeah.
And so they were doing
Plus
like a
Fashion Week.
Women of Sports event yesterday, and it was a huge opportunity for us as
Yeah.
a business.
Cool.
And having you guys on is also a huge opportunity for us because we get to make friends and network.
Thanks,
Mhm.
Phil. We appreciate being here.
yeah,
know.
it's
and
nice.
Heck yeah.
Thanks
So
for the
how
love.
can we find you online? Because everyone's going to jump on Instagram after this.
Our Instagrams, we have a couple different Instagrams. We have the main one for the shop, which is just Nomad Surf Shop. We do the juice truck one a little separate, so it's Nomad Surf Juice and Coffee, and then there's Nomad Surf Boards. So if you want to see all the boards that Ryan builds and all the custom stuff, there's a separate account for that. So I kind of try to work our main account
Heck
around
yeah.
them.
Yeah, we have a lot. The other ones are, the juice one and the surfboard ones we keep mellow, but the full force main one is Nomad Surf Shop. And they all tie in. We still tell our story and collab on them. And so, that. And then we have a website which is strictly focused on our own brand. We don't try to sell everyone,
Love it.
the big guys because, like I said earlier, we're battling them at their own game.
And I will
so.
warn you, our website is a little funky. We can sell out of a t-shirt or a hat in like one day. So I'll post it, and then by the next morning, I have
They're gone,
everything.
man.
Yeah, they're gone. So we're regrouping, trying to get it back.
Yeah,
but,
we're trying to redo
we
that. at
usually
the
are pretty
moment.
good about, hey, it's coming back in stock. A lot of people are
Right.
mellow because
Yeah.
they still,
Locals, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we have signature, like the hat is my dad's signature one we did with his, what he signed on the boards is Legends Never Die, and we'll do like these hula girl collab one. We just
Hell
try to,
yeah.
like the one you're wearing was obviously like a one-off we did, and so we try to keep it so
Yeah.
when someone grabs something, it's not all over and they have that window, but some of the staple stuff has to stay, so
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on the Palm Beach podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
And if you ever want to come and surf Pump House,
Yeah.
Don't charge us.
I won't tell anyone else when it's good.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you when it's good.
Okay.
And vice versa. I want to come down and get a juice and go surf out front.
Yeah. Outback is,
You're more than welcome.
it's kind of the misto spot. So.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yep.
Love it, man. We're gonna get some Nomad brand in the podcast studio as well. We gotta deck it up. So thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no worries.
thanks
Thanks
for
for having
Cheers.
us. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
cheers.
cheers.
You.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Palm Beach Podcast, brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Indo Board, and Lotus Trips for travel and retreats to Palm Beach County.